One Piece chapter 1019 is out, and though we were on break last week, we have another break coming up, I believe, because of the Olympics, so we're gonna be a little out with One Piece chapters. Now, these next couple of days for One Piece are going to be pretty big for us, not only in the anime and manga community on YouTube, but just in general. Even with the cover spread, we have the commemoration of 24 years of One Piece, July 22nd, 1997, One Piece Day. It's been 24 years, and that's crazy to think about because, it's only 2 years older than I am. But we also have things like the Reverie coming up, where all of the big YouTube reviewers are coming together to talk about it. So I believe that's tomorrow, actually, or at least on the 17th. Please keep an eye out for that. Please watch that. Those are always fantastic. I'm also going to include the names of other talented One Piece reviewers that you should definitely check out. Check the description below, you'll have their channels in there, check out their vids, they all make good stuff. In addition to a color spread, we also have the Where's Waldo kind of One Piece crossover, which is really cool. If you take a look at it, there are a bunch of Easter eggs. Gaimon's in there, which he's at the bottom left if you haven't spotted him already, but you can kind of look around and see all of the characters. There's a bunch of characters from just Wano itself, and then there's just characters outside of Wano that are just, important to One Piece. If you're looking for Waldo, he is next to Law. And I don't really know the nature behind the crossover, but I think it's just really cool. I used to be really into Waldo as a kid, and I would always have like stacks of the Where's Waldo books. So it's just nice to see, years later, One Piece collabing with something you loved as a kid. Now, we start the chapter still seeing what's going on the live floor. We have Sanji and Queen who are still going at it. It doesn't look like much has happened since we last saw them. Basically the reveal of Queen's hybrid form and kind of like his mechanizations. Looks like he's just shooting lasers around and Sanji's just dodging. And Sanji makes an offhand comment that Frankie would like that technology, which is odd because Frankie already has that technology. He already has the beams from his hands. And I'm pretty sure Sanji has seen that once or twice. I know at least in Fishman Island he's seen it. So I think this might just be more of an indication that Frankie would like the technology that Queen is using. And this also makes me think that Queen and Vegapunk at some point did create the kind of technology that Frankie's using now. If Queen didn't create or have a heavy hand in using it, he modified it or did something with it to use it for himself, because it's very reminiscent of how Frankie operates. It looks like the situation with Zoro hasn't really made a lot of progress. They're still trying to give him the shot, but he's still bandaged up pretty bad. And it looks like they're trying to give him the shot through the bandages, and Zoro's kind of yelling at them for that, which I like that because it seems like he's already getting his energy back, and this is before the shot, so once he gets the shot, he'll obviously be, at a good position to be fighting. Now, I wonder if they're actually going to listen and take the bandages off before they give Zoro the shot, or if they're going to have it kind of like where in a Nest lobby he was trapped in the chimney, and once he gets the shot, he's kind of just going to cut through all the bandages really quickly. And we also get to see what's going on with Luffy. Now, the rest of the pirates on the ship are trying to resuscitate him, but they don't seem to have anywhere near the medical expertise that Law has. So it just seems like they're doing very basic medical things, like they're trying to pour medicine down his throat, which I don't know if that works in any point in time, but they're basically trying anything they can. And Luffy, in normal Luffy fashion, he coughs up some of the water and he immediately calls for meat. And this is what Luffy does when he's about to gear up and get ready for round 2 of a fight. We've seen it before where he's been pretty much out of energy and he calls for meat being basically his downtime before he gets back into it. Now, of course, with Kaido, it's been 4 rounds, but he's going to be ready to go back in there, and I'm assuming he's going to get there during or after the Yamato fight. Now, a lot of this chapter focused on the fight between Sasuke and Frankie, and I think this is the kind of wrap-up process we're getting with all the Tobiropo, because, we kind of got it with Ulti, we kind of got it with page 1. We're seeing it here with Sasuke. We still have Who's Who we haven't determined is defeated yet, but is looking to be pretty close. And then we have Black Maria, who we haven't really seen since Robin and Brooke stepped up. The Dango Rogue headliners are attacking the other Beast Pirates. And again, it's pretty much that back and forth where you have the headliners, you have other Beast Pirates fighting Beast Pirates. So that force is basically canceling out. They say they're on Frankie's side, but pretty much they're just stopping more of the fodder from getting in the way. So it becomes a true 1v1 with Sasuke and Frankie. Now that we've entered 1v1 mode, we get Sasuke in hybrid form. And his hybrid form is it reminds me a lot of his basic character stance. It's very kind of chunky, and he's a bigger character. So this hybrid form is really huge because it towers over General Frankie. And we also get to see him use his sword, which I have been waiting for a very long time, back when he confronted Yamato and he was getting ready to use the blade, because it was obviously like some kind of unique blade, and we get more about it here, that it's a Karakuri blade. Now, this generally means that it's a mechanical blade or a blade with a based mechanism in it. The mechanism of his blade being that it has what appears to be spinning blades along the actual blade line. Now, if you think back a bit to Hold'em, he actually has a Karakuri blade as well. His seem to be more like a whip than it does, a spinning blade. They may be interchangeable. Not necessarily something that makes a deep connection, but I just noticed we have two similar Karakuri blades, which we don't normally see in One Piece. Now, the spinning blade goes to match Sasuke's ability, which is he's able to spin the fin on his neck. Definitely not ability I was expecting, and when I saw it, I initially thought that, okay, is he a cyborg as well? Has he been enhanced as well? Ultimately, I think this is just an ability of his Triceratops form. The practicality of it being that he has basically sharp edges on the end of his fin, so when that rotates, it's pretty much like a sharp spinning blade that he has around his neck, and it matches the spinning blade that he has with his sword. And he uses that not only to fly, but to deal cutting damage, and significant cutting damage. It can cut through blades, it's slicing through people with great ease, it's not having any trouble. So basically he's got two blades. The biggest benefit I see from this is the advanced mobility he gets, because he's able to now fly around and propel himself in various different ways that he wasn't kind of doing before. And in a fight where you have two like really big hulking fighters, having advanced mobility is really great. In the midst of their fight, Sasuke does mention that the Triceratops is a special breed of dinosaur. I don't know exactly what he means by that, because I don't think there's any breed of dinosaur that would give him this ability. I don't know if he's just kind of talking out of nowhere, but it seems like there might be something more to his Triceratops form. I don't know if we'll see anything like that. It might just be, a quick one-liner, we don't know. But using his propeller fin and pretty much moving around gives him a lot of damage output. Each time he drills into Frankie, he is doing significant damage to General Frankie, and this is made of Wapple metal. This is something that took a hit from Big Mom. This is something that's been taking hits from a lot of different things and coming out unscathed, and it looks like he's not only piercing it, but he is destroying it. In fact, when he does Tricera Magnum, Frankie has to eject, and you can see that pieces of General Frankie are just broken, shattered. Sasuke manages to not only break Frankie's sword, but tank a Gowan cannon and come back for more. Now at the end, Frankie ends up ejecting and shoots a radical beam directly through his stomach, which looks to be the KO point. And honestly, of all the blows that, the Straw Hats have been dealing, this one's kind of aggressive. Like, Frankie just shot a hole directly through somebody. You don't normally see that with the Straw Hats in particular. Generally, their fights are a bit cleaner. If they damage someone, they don't necessarily do it as internally as this. Personally, I don't think Sasuke is down for the count yet, kind of like the rest of the Topiropo. I think we might see them get back up just because they're dinosaur Zoans, but we'll see in the upcoming chapters. Now, the end of this week's chapter brings us something that we've all been waiting to see for some time now, Yamato's Devil Fruit. Way back when Yamato and Sasuke first clashed, we got kind of that glimpse of Yamato growing what seemed to be fangs in response to Sasuke getting ready to challenge. Now, this was kind of like the first indication that there is something else to Yamato besides just raw strength, and the idea was a devil fruit. Now, the idea was generally that it was a white tiger devil fruit, and we see the design now, and it's definitely not a white tiger, but it looks to be something mythological. This also supports the claims that I had before, in which a lot of people were talking about how Yamato was shackled, and that the shackles weren't just there to keep Yamato on Onigashima or in Wano, but the shackles were to prevent the use of the devil fruit. Some fodder mentioned the shackles being gone a couple chapters back, and even Kaido mentions here that he wanted to make sure Yamato could not freely use the fruit. Kaido also mentions he had trouble getting this fruit, so that makes me think, what would give Kaido trouble? What could he run into that would give him trouble finding a fruit? Because if someone had it and he wanted it, I assume Kaido takes it. I assume he has no issue with that. So I'm wondering if it's a matter of him trying to go out and find it, if it's a matter of trying to, procure it from someone really strong. Maybe Shanks had it, maybe he had to go fight another Yonko for it. However he managed to get it, it seems like he got this specifically for Yamato, even though Yamato says it was eaten by accident basically. It was eaten because Yamato was just hungry. And I like that because it shares a very strong similarity with how Luffy ate his fruit and how Momo ate his fruit. They all did it basically out of hunger and not to gain any power. Not that they were fully aware of what they were doing when they ate that fruit. I absolutely love the design of the fruit. It looks really cool. It reminds me a lot of Sulong. It looks like a Sulong form, you know, kind of like a hybrid Zoan Sulong. And I've seen some theories here and there. The closest thing that I see this to is the Kirin. And the Kirin is a mythological creature that appears with the imminent arrival or passing of an illustrious ruler. And that points to a lot of people because we have Kaido, who is the current ruler of Wano. We have Momo, who is supposed to be the next shogun. He's supposed to be the next ruler. We have Luffy, who is quite possibly a sovereign, who is quite possibly the ruler of this generation. You know, we have a lot of what we could look at as illustrious rulers who are either coming into play or about to, you know, leave out of play. So the idea that it's a Kirin and that the Kirin kind of signifies this, I think adds to the theory a lot. I was also looking at images of a Kirin, and basically one of the things that I notice is the joints, like the elbows and the knees, there are tufts of almost like flame-like hair coming from them. And that is a similar design to most of the Kirins that I saw. And I feel like that's unique enough to be relevant to the theory. Like, that's a very interesting design choice. But overall, I really like the design and I want to know more about it. Another great chapter. Definitely wasn't expecting to get the devil fruit reveal. I had honestly completely forgot that within this fight between Kaido and Yamato, we should see it. So the fact that it happened here kind of just jogged my memory of all that stuff. But the chapter was great overall. Gonna have a poll in the description below. Like I said, check out those channels that I linked down there as well. You guys enjoy the break, enjoy the Olympics, enjoy the reverie, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.